Hi! Ignore how disheveled I look. I went on a run today, which turned into a walk, so I'm a little bit frizzle frazzled, as they say. Happy July 6th, everyone, or 7th, everyone. I missed 4th of July for the first time ever, it feels like. I'm sure there was a time I missed it before, but it's very odd. So let's go back a week. So a week ago today, last Tuesday, Robert and I rented a car and we drove to a place called Dunkeld, which is where Robert plays music, for those of you who have listened before or watched before. And we went to Dunkeld and Robert played music with his friends in the backyard in this cool, like, shed looking thing. And I feel like I've already said all this. Maybe I have. Either way, I went on a walk and got to explore some towns or whatever. And the next day, we woke up. I had an interview with a church in D.C., which was good. Yay. I'm still waiting to hear back from them, so that's exciting. But the more exciting part is that we drove after that to the Cobbler, which is like this really cool mountain. You'll see pictures. It looks like a cobbler hunched over a shoe, apparently. I don't see it, but you might. So we got to the Cobbler at like 6:30, and it was like kind of pouring down rain, and the midges were bad, which are like no-see-ums. So we were trying to debate what to do. We'd already driven all this way. It was like 45 minutes. We didn't want to go all the way back to Glasgow. So we decided just to like push through and hike as far as we could to the peak before sundown, which is at like 10. So we ended up being able to hike for like 4 hours before it started to get like too dark and cloudy to keep going. So we hiked like through the woods, and there's pictures of all of it. We hiked through the woods, and we hiked. It was a steep hike. Like, Robert said it was going to be easy. He was wrong. It was not that easy. So we're like hiking. I'm trying not to complain. Robert had like his big hiking backpack, and I had my little school backpack that I had all the food in. And all he had was, he says he has everything. I don't know why he brought all of his clothes the whole week up to camp, because we were only camping there one night. But all of mine he had was a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag. So, and a tent, but that's a community effort. I had all the food and my clothes for sleeping and water. So anyway, we hike up, and it's stunning. It is just it's such a unique landscape. There's a river, there's like all these craggly rocks, there's a boulder field. It looks like where you would bury giants, like a giant graveyard. Not like a large graveyard, but a graveyard for giants. So that was really cool to watch. And we like walked up, and we saw 4 stags, I should say. I think they're heart deer or something. And they just kind of stared at us and kept doing their thing. They were across the river, and you could see the Cobbler looming up in the distance, and then the fog rolled in, so we couldn't really see it anymore. But we were hiking, and I'm starting to get hungry because I'm always hungry. And I had snuck 2 bagels in my pockets, pocket bagels. So I'd already eaten half of one. I figured I'd save the other one for the next day when we were hiking down, because you need the protein of a bagel. And we were going to have spaghetti for dinner, and so we found a little spot that we felt looked good. I never camped before, so it looked good to me. The whole ground looked good to me. And so we set up the tent, and it starts to rain a little bit, so I, grab the cooking supplies, and there's like this big boulder and this like little cave. So we go and sit in the cave because we're going to cook, in the cave with no rain. And I get the stove out, I get the noodles, the sauce. I brought a glass jar of pasta sauce because, duh, you have to. I'm getting everything all set up for dinner, and I'm like, oh, Robert must have the lighter, because I didn't grab it. And then Robert comes by, and he's like, all right, like, let's do this. I'm like, where's the lighter? He's like, you have it. I'm like, no, you have it. And he's like, no. So it turns out neither of us had it, and we still can't find it. So it's somewhere, but neither of us had a way to light a fire. Neither of us knew of another way to light fire that didn't involve like sticks or flint, things we just didn't have. So Robert like runs down the mountain to try and get cell service so we can Google how to start a fire. And he ends up getting it, and we like try our best to start a fire. Doesn't work. So we end up eating my pocket bagels and like granola bar for lunch, which means we also don't have hot water to make porridge in the morning, which is fine. Like, I can eat cold porridge, but like there's a difference between cold oatmeal and cold porridge. Like, my dad would make me cold oatmeal, and that's fine because the flavor's good. But porridge, you kind of need the heat to make it less disgusting, At least it goes down smoother when it's warm. So I had like another granola bar and some like gum for breakfast. So I was quite cranky all day. But then we woke up at like 4:45 when the sun was bright and just shining. Our sleeping bags, a lot of space in the tent, but our sleeping bags would like slip and slide on like the bottom of the tent and like on the sleeping pads. So I like woke up at the bottom of the tent at like several points in the night, and my like everything else was really warm, but my face was really cold. So I kept like waking up and like touching my cheeks and nose, and then like hunkering down even more. And I took Calvin, obviously, and my like down jacket acted as my pillow. So we woke up and we realized, it's 5 in the morning. We might as well just go ahead and hike to the peak and then back down because no one's gonna be up here for a couple hours. So we like left our stuff, put on like our real clothes. I'm in pajamas, and hiked up to the peak, and it was straight up. And at one point, you kind of lose the path in like rocks. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Rewind to dinner. Robert's like trying to get everything up on this hill while we're sleeping. And I like have the bag and I go put it under the boulder like I said. And Robert's like coming down the hill. And he like plants his foot on a rock that he's like confident is dry. And it is not dry. And homeboy face plants. Like straight up face plants on the ground. And he like, it's like a cartoon. He like splashes. It was so funny. After I made sure he wasn't like, broken legged or something, but it was really funny. So fast forward. The path is like rocks and it's hiking, and all of a sudden now we're like rock climbing a little bit. And so we finally get to the top, like most of the top, and then you have to like kind of go back around and climb a little more. And it was a beautiful view, but I decided that it wasn't beautiful enough. Like it wasn't really worth hiking that much and that much like pain. And I thought I was going to throw up a couple times just to like see what the glen looks like from above. But there are pictures included, so it was really beautiful. And at the time, I was very much sure I was never gonna go hiking again, but now I'm not so sure. I might do it again. It was pretty cool. It was okay. I just liked it when it was flat. I didn't need it to be up and down. I wasn't the biggest fan of up and down, but we ended up. Excuse me. We summited the Cobbler, which is the mountain we came to summit, and then there was another Monroe, which is a mountain like right next door. So all you had to do is like kind of go back down to that middle point and then go back up the other one. So it wasn't that far. So we did that one too, and we don't know what it's called. Robert probably knows, but I don't. And I was like, well, we're here. We might as well. It's gonna take us like 20 extra minutes. And then we ended up like scooting ourselves down. It was much harder to go down than it was to go up. And packed up our gear in the pouring rain and our nets, our face nets, and my hands tucked into my sleeves so that I wouldn't get attacked by midges, and hiked ourselves out. And we were supposed to go to a bothy, like that was Wednesday night. We're supposed to go to the bothy Thursday, like hike into Dunkeld with Robert's music friend and his girlfriend, and stay in like a bothy, which is like a little shack in the woods, basically. And I could not. I'll just be honest. I was like, Robert, I am a wimpus with a capital W. Like, I don't think I can. My legs, anytime I'd stand still, one leg would like absolutely jiggle away. I'm like, I don't have function in my lower half. And my shoulders had hurt from my book bag. They were still red earlier. I'm like, this isn't good for me. I wasn't built for this. We have done no physical activity for 2 weeks, and now we're like climbing a mountain. So Robert was nice, and he called the guy, and the guy was like, yeah, there's bad weather. I don't think we should go. And Robert's like on the phone, like, yes, thank God. So we go, we get McDonald's because all I wanted was a burger. All I wanted was a burger. I was like, look, we haven't eaten anything real. We haven't had a real meal. I have to have a burger. And they messed up my burger. So I ended up having chicken nuggets, but it was fine. It was delicious. And then we decided since we weren't going to the bothy, we should still use the car. So we found a bunch of castles that were on the way back to Glasgow. So we saw, oh gosh, I don't remember their names. We saw one that was like a castle and country park, but you couldn't go in the castle because it was old. Or it was newer, but it wasn't like used anymore. And they closed it down. So we got to see that, and it was really beautiful. We walked all through the country park. We probably walked the equivalent of what we would have walked at the bothy. But since it was all flat and it was what I wanted to be doing, it was a little different. So we got to see that castle. We saw a couple castle ruins too. There's pictures, obviously. And that was it was nice. We just kind of traveled around. We went to the Devil's Pulpit, and that was really cool. It's like the clay is really red, and this river eroded this sandstone and this like red clay really fast in this one area of Scotland. And so it's like this huge river, but it's like, I don't even know how many feet down. Robert's pictures are okay. They didn't really do it justice. No pictures can do it justice. But it's like this deep canyon, and you're expecting it to be, like King's Grant deep, like not that deep of a canyon, just like a little. But this, I mean, it was truly very, very deep. Like if you would have fallen from the top, you would have not survived. It was so fascinating. So we like played in the water a little bit, and like you could go up and like kind of like wade through waist deep water to slide down the waterfalls. I was good. It was cold. I was fine. Not doing that, but we got to walk around there, and it was really beautiful, and it was on someone's property, but roaming rights, so we could be there legally. And like all these high school students were there drinking, and like foreigners were coming to see it, and it was just really fascinating. You should definitely look it up. If you watch Outlander, it's where Dougal takes Claire in like season 1 when he thinks she's lying, and she like drinks the water, and he's like he believes her because she doesn't like combust or whatever. So it was fascinating to like see where they filmed it and try to figure out how the hell they got them down there, because you have to like basically rock climb. Someone like tied ropes all around, and you like use the ropes to get down. It was unique. It was like someone tried to build stairs and then they all fell over. So there's just these huge square rocks that they're not easy. And that was fun. And then we went to another little castle ruin, all on the way back to Glasgow. And then we slept for so long. Like we woke up Friday and we just slept. We woke up and then we slept. We slept until like midday, and then we found a couple castles to go see, like in southern Glasgow. So we saw like a bunch of those castles, and then we planned our day for Saturday. I had to think of what day we're talking about. So Friday was just like a castle tour day. We didn't really see that many castles, but it was also kind of rainy and groggy, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And then so Saturday, 4th of July, woohoo, we woke up and got dressed and packed our bags, and we went over to, like, over near Edinburgh on the East Coast, and we went and saw a couple castles there. Castle ruins, I should say. Robert planned it. It was good. It was really, because my thing is I want to see as many castles as possible, because you can't see those in the U.S. because we don't have them. So we're, like, exploring these castles and going through people's cow pastures, trying to get to them, and probably breaking a couple laws. And then we went all the way to the coast. The first castle was on the coast, and it was Newark Castle. And I brought tea bags, and we opened them and poured the tea in the ocean. Yay, the Boston Tea Party or whatever. America, 4th of July. We were trying not to be too obnoxious of Americans. The only thing we had on that was American, other than my colors, obviously. I had on flag socks, and he had on flag socks. So then for dinner, Dr. Stewart Watkins, I think is his last name, he was kind enough to offer for us to come and get a change of scenery and go to his house. He lives in Glasgow, or like southern Glasgow. And he offered for us to come stay with him and his family. He has 2 children, Matthew, who's 5, and Emma, who's 6, almost 7. And he offered for us to come and eat dinner with them and spend the night with them just for a change of scenery on 4th of July. So he went out of his way. He got hamburgers and hot dogs and Reese's Pieces and Oreos and Budweiser and French fries and potato wedges and coleslaw, all this stuff, so that we would feel at home on 4th of July. And we stayed up until like midnight watching like the DC celebration and just chit-chat. I hung out with their 5-year-old, obviously. We're best friends now. Matthew and I are tight. Very smart kid. Almost beat me in SpongeBob chess, but I ended up prevailing against the 5-year-old. So, yay, Ellie. We got to sleep in a different bed than ours, which was very comforting. Their house is so spacious compared to our apartment. And that was very lovely and very kind of him. And so Sunday, we just woke up and returned the car, and we walked downtown, and we shopped a little bit. Oh, that was yesterday. We shopped yesterday. I got some really cool sweatpants, and Robert got some really cool hiking pants from North Face, and he's going to go back and get some really cool sweatpants because the ones he got didn't fit. And then Robert's friends all met in the park for some brews, some beers, and I went on a walk with my friend Kayla, who's moving to Germany. So we walked like 2 hours. My legs were like on fire. Every 30 minutes, I'd be like, yo, we gotta like take a seat or something. I cannot feel my hips, my calves. And then Robert surprised me and got Pisano's pizza last night for dinner, and it was so good. And I dyed my hair pink a couple of days ago. So this is what we are. It's pretty ratchet right now. It'll go away eventually, but it's just for fun. You'll see it in some pictures. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Obviously, as always, if I remember something, I will let you guys know. I did get to see a dachshund today when I went on a run. Her name was Stella. She's 5 months old. She's an angel. And the owner, I was like, can I play with her? And she was like, yeah, she loves attention. I'm like, oh girl, don't you know it? Like, you should meet my dog. So I got to play with the dogs, and it was so cute. But yeah, I think that's everything. So see you guys next time. I forgot to mention that the pictures are a little out of order. The videos should be in relative order. Sorry about the pictures. I got a little lazy. Also, I'm really sorry this video is really long, so hope you watch the whole thing. Bye! I also forgot to mention that on Sunday night, like midnight for me, we had the Pelican Perch talent show, for 4th of July with our family. But since we weren't all there, we got on to Zoom, and Robert Burnside had some comedic genius, Edward had comedic genius, and Eliza and I put together a trivia, and then I did, identify people's mouths or whatever. It was weird, but it was good to get to see the family, and even though this was a weird 4th of July, I look forward to 100 more amazing 4th of Julys that are not as weird and spaced out and me across the ocean in very cold spots. So, that was that. Okay, bye! I also forgot that one of the towns we went to was spelled E-L-I-E, and it was amazing! But it's pronounced Ailey, so that sucks. But that's okay, because it's named after me. So, yeah. That's where we're headed. Hey Robert, are you ready to go camping?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can see right now, but there are 4 freaking stags on this cliff face. Do you see? Oh gosh. Do you see them? 2 of them are literally staring at me right now.
And the peaks are way up high that you can't even see them.
Look how far we've walked. Oh, damn. Get it? It's a dam. Say hi, Robert.
Hi.
Well, it started to rain and we set up camp, but we're trying to make dinner and we realized we forgot any type of way to start a fire. So Robert is currently, if you can see, hiking down the mountain a little ways to try and find service so we can Google how to start a fire with absolutely no resources. So wish us luck. We're in the tent for the first night. Ah!
Oh god.
He got attacked by midges. All right, we just did that, and now we're going back to our tent. It's that tiny
All the way down there.
tiny white dot right there. Yippee! Say hi, Robert. Just finished! Ah! My feet hurt. On ye praise where the sun shines bright on the
How's it going?
Fine by me, sir.
It's gonna start hurting. It's so cold.
Ouch. See, my way was so much easier. Literally the pinnacle of easy. I don't know what that is. Could be a skin, could be a blanket.
Smile.
I always knew I was saint-like. Look. Ellie's church. That's me. Ready? This is for you, America. Boom. First castle of Independence Day. It's on the ocean.